Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Johnson. We are going to continue our new lesson, which is called Story Elements. It's considered a story on a document so I'm gonna give you a blank copy of this worksheet on a document, and you're going to consider the story and the document and different story elements for this text. And you're going to use a graph organizer that you're going to do to write about each part of the text. So the first one you're going to talk about is characters. Like some of the questions we're going to be doing is like, who are they and what are they like? And the setting, what's the time and place in the summer? When and where does it take place? Our conflict is going to tell you what types of conflict are present within the story. So that means like you need to what is the conflict in the story? The events. Identify 3 major events in the story. So you have to write down 3 events in the story. For the characters, you need to write their name and tell me and describe them. What do they look like? And the setting, you need to tell me where and when doesn't take place, where's the place, and what's the time take place of the story. Our conflict is going to tell you, like, what conflict and where, like, what do you know? The events will be, like, 3 major events. Like, tell me, you're going to keep an eye on what is the event in the story. You can Google it. The resolution is how does the conflict get solved? Like, how's the problem solved in the story? And then you're going to put in theme what ideas and topics that the story aims to teach. What aims to teach? Like, what theme do you want? Like, what kind of topic? And what is the author's purpose for crafting the story? In other words, what does the author want to teach the audience about? Like, what do they want to know about? We're gonna go over those anchor charts for the story elements and structure. So So here's something really important because you're gonna tell 3 events in the story to give you a document. So we're going to talk about vocabulary words. Events are the things that happened in a story. They are told in sequence or in order, and they use the details to identify and describe the events. The first one is called the beginning, and the beginning is to describe the most important events that happen in the beginning. And next is you're going to use next to describe the most important events that happen in the middle. And the last is to describe most events happen at the end. Okay, so the story elements for this one is the piece of parts to make a story. For the characters are the people or animal who are important in the story. So especially the animals, you're going to write name, and so for example, if you say Emily Elephant, that is going to be Emily the elephant. That is important in the story. And for people, if you think the people's name is Olivia, you can say the characters are Olivia and Emily the elephant. They are most important in the story. Like, you can make a sentence with it. The setting is the time and location where the story takes place. You must need when the time takes place and what location. For example, if the time in the morning, you have to put the morning at So the setting takes place at the morning at, and let's say we go to McDonald's. So we'll say our setting will take place in the morning at McDonald's. Our problem is the main conflict, struggle, or issues that the character are up against. So, for example, if Olivia struggling with her math, she might be having trouble with adding fractions. That's a great example. Or the theme is the lesson or message of the story. So you talk about what is the theme lesson of the story. For example, we have author purpose, fan story structure. This lesson in the story. You gotta put author's purpose, and there's so many themes. So you can look up what is the themes in the story. The key event is the important event or actions that occur during the story. So the key events. So you're gonna be listening to the key events because you're going to listen to what the events are, and the solution is the way the character solved the problem. For example, if Olivia is having trouble with fractions, she knows how to convert mixed numbers into proper fraction. And for example, the problem will be Emily the elephant was where Emily is since she was struggling, but then the solution is going to be Emily the elephant helped her. The story elements are pieces of ingredients that, when put together, make up a narrative story, and they will identify the remembering story elements will help you understand the story better. So the characters are going to be people, animals in the story, setting, where did it take place, and when, the time. And the problem is going to be the conflict or the main problem that the character might have. And the solution is going to tell you how did it solved. So these are the story elements are essential to keep the story running smoothly and allowing the conflict and development. Once you remember the story elements, you know where to understand the story better. So the setting is where and when the story occurs. A country, for example, Japan, will be the country of where you're going. There's another planet, Earth. There's solar system. There's some of them that you can go to. So, like, for example, it's Mercury. The mountains by the ocean. I'll say by the ocean. So there's three things that when they're taking place: the past, the present, and the future. And the characters are the people and animals in the story. The major character is most important, so you have to listen to carefully. That will be the people in the story. And the minor characters are less important. It will be the animals. The conflict is the problem in the story that can be between characters in the setting, or force of nature like storm and volcano. The character and himself are internal struggling, or you're going to identify. So here's what I'm going to show you one more time of what you need to do. Remember, you have to consider the story and document on the Google Classroom. On the library Google Classroom, you're going to consider the story and document that different story elements for this text. And you're going to use a graph organizer to write about each part of the text. We got to think about characters, setting, conflict, events, resolution, and the theme, and the author's purpose for crafting the story. In other words, what does the author want to teach an audience? All right? Have a great day, and remember to complete the assignment.